Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Courtside Soundoff podcast. Once again, I'm Josh Evanoff. As always, welcome by the one and only man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. It is the one and only Angel Ortega. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week, guys. We got UFC Noche to go over. UFC Vegas 79 belts or 299, as well as a boatload of news. As always, two fantastic sponsors of the show, Rogue Energy and ELYXR. Code Soundoff for both for 10% off. Rogue Energy, keep me fueled up, keep me going throughout my day, whether I'm at the gym, working out, or I'm working at home, or whatever I'm doing. They're going to get me to my finish line. They can help you with Code Soundoff for 10% off. Meanwhile, ELYXR, quick status update, level 18 in Starfield as of now.
Oh, is it, by the way? Do you like it?
Fucking great, dude. I understand it's not for everybody. I understand some people are like, oh, it's just, it's copy paste. It's just like every Bethesda. It's just, another Bethesda game. But I'm into it. It's pretty fun. Making my own ships and going to planets, starting outposts and shit. It's fun. And you know why it's been a lot of fun, Angel? Because I've been using my ELYXR Delta 8s, getting pretty high with Code Soundoff and enjoying my time with the new game. So, yeah, man. There we go. Code Soundoff for both those, Rogue Energy and ELYXR. Angel, I gotta admit, I told you this, that I did not see this fight live. I admittedly was doing something else on Saturday night, but dude, it was straight up war in the main event of UFC Noche on Saturday, going down from the T-Mobile Arena, not Mexico. It was Mexican Independence Day, but once again, in Vegas. But the Mexican fans did turn out for this one, man, and they were all on ELYXR Grasso's side in the main event as she fought to a split draw against Valentina Shevchenko. Angel, most controversy for like a fight in a long time. I mean, and I will say that the fight was really, really close. I don't even think most people are mad that the fight was a draw itself. It was that round 5 scorecard from Judge Mike Bell, which was a 10-8 for Grasso, led to the draw, and that's horrendous. But in terms of the fight itself, who'd you give the nod to? What do you kind of make of all the controversy, and how'd you score, man?
Hey, man, me personally, had it 3-1 going into the 5th, and then the 3-2. I thought I was going Val's way.
Fair enough. And wait, out of curiosity, what rounds did you give Shevchenko, if you can remember off the top of your head?
1, 3, and 4.
So. That's fair. Yeah.
Well, you know what would be more funny, Josh? I was like 1, 3, and 5.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm really hoping you're going to kind of troll me for a minute there, but it's all right. Yeah, I mean, I scored pretty much the same thing, but swing round obviously was round 4, and I gave that to Grasso. If you would have given, I mean, you said like you're like 55. You said in the green room you're like 55-45 on the side of Shevchenko. I'm like, it's probably 60-40 on the side of Grasso. Like, it's very, very close. I don't think the controversy coming out of this fight is that it was a draw. It's how we got to that point. Because obviously in round 5, I'd say it was pretty competitive. They were going back and forth. And then Shevchenko goes for a takedown, gets countered again. Grasso gets the back with minute 30 left. She landed some ground and pound. I don't think she got necessarily got close to a finish. But obviously Judge Mike Bell scored that round at 10-8, which led to the draw. And dude, since then, Nevada, they said that they're going to go and handle it, Angel. They said they're handling Judge Mike Bell. They just made every single judge go to a fucking meeting about 10-8s. What did you make about his scorecard and all the controversy surrounding it?
Fuck, dude. I mean, it's weird because it's just this one mistake, right? Because look, I think no matter what, Josh, the fight coming out of it, there would have been controversy regardless. Everybody would have been like, I thought Grasso won. I thought Shea. I mean, it was a highly contested fight. No matter what, we were not going to exit this without any sort of issues, even with the 10-8. Granted, the 10-8 doesn't help it at all because people want to one way or another. And then, obviously the conversation changes there because we start talking about the highly contested round 4. Some people even arguing round 5 for Shev, even round 1 for Grasso. I mean, there's a lot of things there,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand. Look, I mean, there's no way you can argue, and you said you saw a couple of people arguing maybe for the 10-8 being a thing. if you think that round 5 was a 10-8, you gotta go watch a different sport, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like, we gotta move Mike Bell's ass to, like, golf or something, dude. You know? Like, well, you know, we gotta do something. Because that's just horrendous, and that's unacceptable. And I know Dana was like, that guy, Dana even said, like, last night that he thought, he was like, Jesus, that guy's gotta be fucking corrupt, you know? Like, it was really, really bad. Although I guess we should talk about what's going to come next, because Trilogy's up next, Angel. In case there was any doubt, Valentina Shevchenko called for it. Grasso said that she'd prefer to fight somebody else, but let's be honest, nobody else. There's nobody else. Because Aaron Blanchfield even said, like, yeah, it's a draw. I'd rather fight Maina Ferro than get that title shot. So.
Oh, so she's down for it. Okay, that's respectable.
Yeah, cold-blooded. She's a fucking dog. You know, she said, I'll fight Maina Ferro for the title shot. And Danny did confirm last night that the plan is for the trilogy and then to book Blanchfield versus Ferro. So it kind of works out in like it kind of works out perfectly for everybody involved. Trilogy, man, what do you think about it? Is it the right move, or would you prefer if they went for an obscure Blanchfield or Ferro title shot?
I'm down, man. I'm down for it.
Yeah.
You know, I heard I was watching Morning Combat, man. Like it was a day ago, and they were talking about this, and who was it that said it? I can't remember who it was, but essentially, one of the guys said, you know, they weren't down for the rematch, and they would kind of want like a fresh look. Mm-hmm. And but they did say one thing that did interest me at the time. Now I don't think it's gonna happen, but I thought Valentina move to 135 actually could have been very interesting. Mm-hmm. Which is something they mentioned that I completely did not even think about. But now we know that's not going to happen. So
yeah.
Kind of out of the question.
I didn't think about that either. That'd be cool. I mean, look, we're gonna get the trilogy next. These two
it's so possible, by the way.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is like, dude, like, you guys know how much I hate instant rematches and trilogies at this point. Like, they give them to everybody, unless you're a fighter that they don't like, and then they'll make up some reason not to do it. But you know, this is literally the perfect scenario. I mean, that first fight was competitive up until the choke. This one was very competitive. Either way you look at it, even the hardest of hardcore Valentina fans can't be like, oh, that was a robbery. You know what I mean? Like, Judge Mike Bell was fucking off playing with crayons or whatever the fuck during that 5th round. But outside of him, like, the scoring was pretty alright. It was a very competitive fight. And excited to see the trilogy likely later this year, man. In terms of the rest of the card, in the co-main event, more controversy, Angel. Admittedly, a lot less. Jack Della Maddalena ends up picking a split decision win over Kevin Holland. Admittedly, I scored this one pretty cleanly for Jack Della Maddalena. What'd you think about it, man? I did see some people scoring it for Holland, and one judge did think he deserves an nod.
Oh, man, Josh, did you think it was 30-27?
No, I thought I gave him Jack the first and the third. I thought round 2 was competitive, and I thought round 1 was competitive. I just thought Jack had the cleaner.
I feel like that's what most people had. Didn't the judges have it like that too? What's the game?
Judges had it 29-28. 2 of them Maddalena. One of them had it 29-28 Holland.
No, I'm saying they gave rounds 1 and 3 to Jack.
Oh, okay, yeah, correct. Yeah, no, you're right.
No, yeah, I mean, I was and wasn't impressed too. Like I said, I don't know. I kind of expected more out of Kevin Holland, but this might be a controversial take, but I think after this, I think we've seen Kevin Holland's level, Josh. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's a lot of talent there, but it's like I've said it, man. I've always felt like this kind of like a lack of kind of overall focus, sometimes in the fight itself, and kind of career-wise, like this kind of weird direction. But look, man, you can do whatever you want with your career, man. It's completely up to you. But it feels very odd that a guy with such talent hasn't, you know what I mean? Like, isn't fully kind of capitalizing on it. Obviously, he's capitalizing on it money-wise, which is great financially. You know, you got to tip that. But it almost feels like he could reach such a high, for one, make even more money and also reach glory.
Mm. Well, I mean, he's in a weird spot too, because I saw I don't know if like he actually doesn't take it seriously or he's just saying he doesn't take it seriously. He kind of got mad, like somebody asked him about like literally what you're asking about. Like, so you know, you think about potentially the title picture, or what do you think about this or that? And he's like, I don't care about the title. You know, I don't ever care about the title. You should ask somebody else. And then he's like, well, why don't you care about, well, why not? You know, like, if you're wanting the bigger paydays, because that's what he said he cares about, you know, that typically plays out that way. And he, like, argued with the media. Like, Kevin Holland, kind of, like, a low-key weird week, man. Like, a whole lot of people didn't really talk about it.
I mean, but I feel like it's nothing new, though. You know what I mean? It's just that now it's being mentioned by people in the media. It's something that I've noticed for a while. I mean, I'm talking like 4 fights ago, dude. Like,
yeah, no, you've been on it for a while, yeah.
Yeah, like, it's been something that I noticed a while ago. I mean, shit, even the movement to 170 was odd to me, because I thought at 185, the road to the title would have been a lot quicker, and it was very open, and as far as, like, actual matchups, I feel like there was a lot of potential there going forward, and I thought the move to 170 was not the best in my opinion. I still think, but I think he can find success there, and he has. He's beat some good guys, but I don't know. I was just never a big fan of it. Like I said, his career, his choice, and he's doing well for himself, right? I mean, I'm here talking about him, you know. So
yeah, obviously, like he's not. Yeah, I think it's just he could be better than what he is, and we're all about seeing guys reach their potential, you know. And if he's the guy that just wants to get paid and he likes fighting, like that's awesome, man. That's cool. But also at the same time, it's like, Kevin,
damn, you're good.
Damn, you're good, Kevin. Kevin, if you just if you just showed up to a couple more wrestling practices, if you just did this and this, you know, like if you just did a couple of changes.
Well, but even then, Josh, you can't even point to wrestling in this one though, because he got beat in the striking department.
That is true. That is very true. Yeah.
You gotta give credit to Jack Della Maddalena. He's a very Josh, with a height and reach disadvantage. I don't know if you saw it, but I think they said fighters with a 8.5 or 9-inch reach advantage have a 65% chance, like higher win rate or chance of winning their fight. Like, you know, he had, you know, things in his favor. You know, he looked good. I thought he had a chance to win this fight. I was very hesitant of it. I thought about picking Jack, but I think there was still some of that worry in me from that previous fight. And like I said, Kevin Holland was a very game opponent. Like, we both picked him. But kind of to get off that Kevin Holland topic, like, holy fuck, man, Jack Della Maddalena, he gets it done. I mean, he's still trucking along.
Yeah, man. I mean, he coming out of this one, it was not like it didn't blow me away, but hey, man, beating a guy like Kevin Holland, who is significantly bigger than you, and like you mentioned, 8-inch reach, which is largely why I picked Kevin Holland to win this one to begin with. Impressive as fuck. Like, this is not a win that, like, you know, like it's not as bombastic. Or you're not gonna get as like many highlight reels or many replays as like his destruction of Randy Brown, where he like knocked him out and subbed him in like 2 minutes. You know what I mean? But a win like this is arguably even more impressive to me, man. Like, just like finding a way to bridge that gap, and Kevin Holland's one of the bigger guys at 170. So if he can bridge the striking gap against a guy like that, fuck, man. Like, it's looking like that one-off, that short notice fight with Hafez earlier this year is probably just, you know.
By the way, when are we going to see that guy fight again?
Let me see. Let me see if he has a fight announced. That's a good question.
I know.
Still Hafez. That fight went down in July. He doesn't have anything announced. Interesting.
It's weird.
All right. That is kind of weird. Yeah,
Jack
I wonder.
2 spots, by the way. I'm looking at it now. So he's 12 now. He was 14. So he's one behind Ian Gary. Vincente Luque, Jack Della Maddalena. Doesn't that get you going a little bit, Josh?
I'm rock hard with emotion right now. I got a phoner.
I think that's the move.
Anyways, man. Yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong with Jack Della Maddalena right now, man. I mean, he needed a big win, and he got it. In terms of the rest of the card, man, obviously, normally I'd ask, like, which fights you want to talk about. I'm pretty sure I got a good idea, so why don't you go ahead and lead into Raul Rosas Jr.
Right? I mean, what a fucking finish, right? But once again, though, Josh, kind of a bit of tailor-made matchmaking here, right?
Yeah.
A guy, you know, been removed from the game a little bit, came out recently, come out fast. He fights at 135, Josh, now, but his body doesn't look like he fights at 135. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You look at the guy and it looks like he could be filled out a little bit more. And he's a tall guy for the weight class, don't get me wrong. But even then, like, you look at guys like Sean O'Malley, Corey Sandhagen, they look a little bit more dense. So kind of looks like my boy's just coming, you know, waking up, cutting like 5-10 pounds maybe and getting on that scale.
Yeah, he does not look big for the weight class at all.
No, I mean, I didn't think he looked much bigger even than Raul. I think they looked about the same. And Raul is a very, like I said, he's not even grown into his adult male body yet fully.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but, I think Luke Thomas put it very well, Obviously, he can look good. He can have good performances. He can get good finishes. But it's hard to analyze him yet or kind of see where he's at when he hasn't had a fight yet where he's had to break down an opponent. You know what I mean? Or systematically win.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to see all the elements of his game, cardio, striking, grappling, fight IQ, and just the management of a fight. Which, I agree with. I think that's actually a very intelligent way to put it, and the way he articulated it was much better than what I just did.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you could say you probably feel the same, Josh.
Yeah. No, that's pretty accurate. I feel the same way. Robert Rosas Jr., man, I was impressed by this win, but it didn't honestly tell me a whole lot about him. I think everybody kind of knows that, 9 fights deep. In most of those fights, what is this? His only 3rd UFC fight, and a lot of those were just squash matches, for lack of a better term. That's just how MMA is, a lot of the time. But he's definitely the guy that obviously has the talent. It's just about can he stay together for 15 minutes. He's very active early. He has a lot of power. He's a great wrestler, great submission game. It's just can he conduct the pace, and can he stay in there for 15 minutes? Because that was really what made the difference in his first career loss to Christian Rodriguez. Round 1 came out looking fucking good, but it was in that round 2 and 3. And I really feel like this is a huge win, but it didn't really tell us anything in terms of his future development, I feel like, like you mentioned, tailor-made matchmaking. But look, he does have to go out there. He does have to get the wins himself. In 18 years old, he talked about how he thinks he's going to be a superstar in this game. He didn't talk about being any 3-division champion this time like he did last time he showed up. Before his first loss, so I liked that he was a bit quieter this time. Yeah, man. I don't have any real big takeaways coming out of this, but it was an impressive win, But yeah, man, in terms of the rest of this UFC card, what fights do you most want to highlight? There were a couple of very impressive performances coming out of this night.
There was a lot. I think there was a lot of people we had to highlight. Actually, I'll tell you who I would have given my performance bonus to. Lupita Godinez, man. I think she had the most impressive night out of anybody on this card outside of the main event, right? Both gals there. I was putting in work. But she just looked dominant over Elise Reed, Josh. We've seen Lupita Godinez fight, but I think that might have been the best Lupita Godinez performance we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, it looked like a different person there. She looked possessed. It was just amazing. I was like, dude, if that girl shows up on a title fight night, what can, no one's stopping her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. Loopy, I've made it very clear how big of a fan I am of Loopy, but god damn, she looked good, dude. And she's coming out of that same camp, that has, what is it, Lobo Gym, I believe? Dude, all dogs. But dude, just, like you mentioned, best performance of her career. By far, by a mile. And she's gotten some big ones in the past, too. Like Cynthia Calvillo, Emily Ducote, Loma Lookambee. She had some big wins in the past. This one was just pure dominance from the word go, man. Very, very impressed by her. But this kind of night was full of performances like that, dude. Raul Rosas Jr. ran over Terrence Mitchell. Obviously we just mentioned Loopy. Roman Kopylov versus Josh Frumd. That's supposed to be a banger, and Angel turned into an execution. I felt for my fellow Josh on that night, man.
He's on the verge of being ranked too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
He might deserve. You can make an argument he already deserves a ranked opponent next, maybe one more and then a ranked opponent. But he's on the verge, especially after having a rough UFC debut, Josh. He came into the UFC undefeated and suffers 2 losses in his first 2 UFC fights, Josh. Arguably, maybe being on the verge of not necessarily being cut, but because usually they do 4-fight contracts, right? Maybe another loss and it looks kind of weird. Even if he wins his 4th, he'd be 1-3, and then he'd be out the door. But look, ever since he fought Alessio Di Chiro, and that wasn't UFC France, it was UFC France last year. It's been all finishes, nonstop action, 4-fight win streak. Sky's the limit. He's looking good. I saw some people kind of questioning his recent success and being the world like, this is the same guy who lost to Carl Roberson. I'm like, look, you never know what was going on at the time. You never know what things could have led to that defeat. Maybe it was nerves, maybe a little bit of lack of an experience at the time. But look, he's arrived now, and he's looking very good. Mm-hmm. And, I hate to say this, but where's Carl Roberson now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Carl Roberson, I felt bad for him, man. I felt like he kind of got pushed way too quickly. I mean, he was fighting like guys like Marvin Vettori and fucking Brendan Allen. But yeah, I mean,
he had one of the tougher USCIs. I think we talked about that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did for sure. Because he just faced. I don't even remember. He faced like those are the only two guys off the top of my head, but he faced like 5 or 6 straight killers to end his UFC career. Like ridiculous. But Roman Kopylov, man, like you mentioned, dude, like
Josh, to give you he fought Glover. He fought Glover in 2019.
My God, that's crazy, dude. Holy shit, I remember that.
6-1. Carl Roberson fought Glover Teixeira.
Dude, he nearly knocked him out too.
Could you imagine how different history is, dude?
That's crazy. Holy shit, I forgot that fight.
He won 2 fights. He has 2 strong wins right after that, too. Wellington Turner and Roman Kopylov. Nothing to be ashamed there. But then he proceeded to fight Marvin Vettori, Brendan Allen, Khalil Roundtree, and Kennedy Nzechukwu. I mean,
dude, apparently Carl Roberson is having a rough fucking year. Because I just looked up, I'm looking at his wiki now that we're talking about it, dude, those 4 losses, and apparently in March he was arrested for felony charges of burglary, theft, and criminal mischief. And a residential burglary where over $200,000 in custom jewelry was stolen.
God damn.
He was arrested and they found packages of crack cocaine and marijuana, and he's currently facing 10 years in prison.
Dude, what
Holy
the fuck?
Shit, how did we not hear about this?
Dude, we just had some breaking news on the UFC pod. When did this go down?
This happened, he was arrested in March for it. The crime happened in December of 2022.
Dude, what the fuck? I can't believe we just read that.
That's crazy. I had no idea, dude.
There's something for you to write about now, Josh. You're welcome.
Yeah, dude. Fuck. Anyways, Roman Kopylov got a big win. Fuck segues. We're just gonna bring it right back in because I don't even know where.
Josh, there's no need for us to slow down.
Yeah, Tracy Cortez got a big win. Love me some Tracy Cortez.
It was a fun fight, by the way.
Yeah, fun fight. Charlie Campbell knocked out poor Alex Reyes. I hate to see that happen for Alex Reyes, man. Dom Reyes' brother took off 6 years, Damn, man. Yeah, I mean it was a fun card, man. And I mean, any closing fights you want to talk about before we go and move on?
No, nothing in particular. Outside the ones we did mention. I think we highlighted all the I think major ones. It was just fun. This was a pretty solid night, I'd say.
I completely agree. It was a fun night. And hopefully, UFC Vegas 79 will be fun. Going down this Saturday night from the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada. Ranked lightweights in the main event, Angel. And dude, I said it on Twitter. I said, this fight, look, it's good for an Apex card, but I honestly wish these guys were in front of a crowd, man. Mateus Gamrot coming off a win over Jalen Turner in March, 22-2. We know the story, taking on the 12-2 Rafael Pazzi, coming off a loss to Justin Gaethje in a UFC 286 in March. That was only the second loss of his career, and that snapped a 7-fight win streak for him. Both these guys looking to get a big win here, move up the rankings. It's going to be a banger regardless, man. What do you think about it?
Fuck, dude. I mean, I'd say these matchmaking makes a lot of sense here. I think they're both. I think Steve coming off is Justin Gaethje loss. Obviously, Gamrot bouncing back again. Wasn't that a short notice fight against Jalen Turner?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, it was originally supposed to be Dan Hooker. So yeah, I guess timeline wise, kind of fight wise, this makes sense for both these guys. I mean, to get a little bit into it, I mean, Mateus Gamrot, man, what can we say? Strong wrestler, relentless, a very fucking good chin. Physique, obviously talented striker, coach at Tiger Muay Thai, trains at a Cliff. I mean, you know, we've been there and talked about it. Suffering his, I guess, second UFC career loss. What did he lose? His debut against Magomed Mustafayev?
Yeah, correct. He lost his debut.
Isn't that crazy? Looking back at it, I mean, spinning back kick though, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, you can't really hold that against him. I mean, yeah.
I mean, at least it was a pretty sick way to go out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, Josh, I mean, I hate to say it, classic striker versus wrestler matchup. Gamrot does like to throw some bombs, but you wouldn't say it's necessarily going to be the cleanest of striking like Viziev. Fuck, Josh. I mean, I could see this going either way. Let me just break it down. I think it's, for me, it's 50-50 down the middle as of right now. I mean, if Gamrot can get him down, Josh, I can see a lot of success there, especially if he's able to hold him down. But we've seen that Viziv's obviously worked on his wrestling a lot, worked on his, I guess, kind of to put it better, his takedown defense. He did find some success against RDA, but he's an older RDA, and he has found success of other guys, but I don't know if those guys kind of have the same level of wrestling as Gamera. I'm not gonna lie, Josh, before, I actually had one pick coming into this, and then I changed it in the morning, and now I'm changing it back, Josh. I'm going Mateus Gamera.
Oh, okay. Interesting. We're gonna split on this one, man. I'm taking Rafael Fiziev. I think I'm happy we're splitting on this one, man. You broke it down pretty well. I agree with pretty much everything you said. I just think that on the feet, Mateus Gamera is gonna be a bit of a sitting duck. I think that the grappling department, obviously Gamrot's gonna have the advantage, but I don't think it's gonna be, I don't think it's gonna be substantial enough to be able to even to get the win here, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, I think Rafael Fiziev is a more well-rounded guy. I think on the feet, Gamrot's going to be a sitting duck, and I think it's only going to be a matter of time. I think 5 rounds here. I think Fiziev wants a big win, and I think he's going to get it, dude. I think that he's going to probably get it, honestly, probably a stoppage. I'm still super high on Rafael Fiziev. I think a lot of people, he had that loss to Gaethje, and I also think a lot of people forget how close that fight was, too. I mean, the third round, Gaethje really came on, but the first 2 were very competitive. I think Rafael Fiziev, I can go and take him to get the win, man. I just think he has the higher ceiling. He's significantly better on the feet, and I think on the mat, Gamrot will probably be able to get the fight there, but even if he does, I don't think he'll be able to keep it there and do substantial enough damage to go and, compete on the feet whenever the fight returns there. So, I think Rafael Fiziev is going to get a win. However, that being said, dude, this is a UC Vegas card, which means it's going to be in the Apex. But I like it a lot, man. I mean, in that co-main event, Bryce Mitchell taking on Dan Ige. I think this is an excellent fight, man. Bryce Mitchell has not been seen since his December loss to ELYXR. That was the first of his career where essentially, I mean, he got mugged in that one, essentially. Taking on Dan Ige, who's riding a 2-fight winning streak over Date Landwehr and Damon Jackson. We kind of know the story here. Whenever Danny gets to the top level, kind of struggles, and for Bryce Mitchell, he kind of needs a big win here to kind of stay in contention to keep that hype train going. Crossroad matchup for these two, man. What do you think about it?
And Josh, I'm feeling all the wrestlers, Josh. I'm going Bryce Mitchell on this one. I think he'll be able to bounce back, man. I know he had a tough out, but I still think Bryce Mitchell is capable of separating himself from the pack in this division, and I think it starts here again with Danny Ige getting back on track where he left off. For Danny Ige, like you said, man, it's always been like right there, man. When he needs that major name win, he just falls a little short, and I think it's gonna happen again here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm actually on the same page with this one. I think styles make fights. I don't think Danny Ige is. I think grappling wise, he's gonna be so. I mean, and part of this is also, I should say, Bryce Mitchell. I'm not sure if you've been following it, Angel. Some weird stuff's been going on with Bryce Mitchell over the last 6 months.
I've seen it, man. I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean he's having this girlfriend situation going on. I'm not even going to get into that. It's he said, she said. It is what it is, He did that. He randomly. There was that one. It went viral, and I don't even think MMA fans knew of Bryce Mitchell walking around with a shopping cart 6 months ago in the pouring rain.
By the way, that one still hasn't been addressed.
No, we never learned anything about it. And I don't even think that video was uploaded hey guys, here's Bryce Mitchell being really, really weird. It was bro, who's this weird guy out here with a cart in the rain? And then people found out it was Bryce Mitchell. You know what I mean?
You also gotta keep in mind, that was also California, dude.
Oh, yeah. So.
I mean, that's why no one questioned it. That's probably why no one questioned it, Josh.
You're not wrong. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take Bryce Mitchell. I think Styles make fights. I think if he's been training, if he's been actually if he's doing all right, I think he will probably be able to get a big win here. I just don't think Danny's going to have much to offer in the grappling department. I think on the feet, he's not significantly levels above Bryce Mitchell in the same way that a guy like Ilia Topuria was. So I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. So yeah, we're on the same page there. As far as the rest of the card goes, though, like I mentioned, some solid names, solid matchups here. Which ones are you most looking forward to?
Josh, I mean, it has to be the opening fight on the main card. Charles Jourdain, Ricardo Hama. I mean, they did that violence at his. They know how to give Charles Jourdain fights, Josh. They know how to do it. I mean, that has potential fight of the night there. I think that one's gonna probably take the cake from me.
Yeah.
I'd say a close second for me personally. Brian Bile, AJ Fletcher, obviously super conflicted there. I've grown to have a lot of enjoyment in Brian Battle's game. Obviously, AJ Fletcher. I'm kind of worried for him. Like I said, he's a guy who didn't start fighting that long ago. Professionally, he had a fair bit of a decent bit of an amateur background. Made his debut in 2019. Fought a lot in 2020, and in 2020, and then fought up into 2021, and then got the call up in the Contender Series in 2021. Got the contract. Had some trouble. Finally got a winner at the start of this year in the UFC officially. But he's taking on a game opponent, Brian Battle, who also, like you said, got underestimated. People didn't think he was going to win the Ultimate Fighter. Found success. This looked good in the division. And, obviously he did have that Renat fractured Evanoff. Lost along the way, but, Renat's a fucking monster. So, nothing to be ashamed of there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, you went and highlighted a couple of fights there. Like you mentioned, Ricardo Ramos and Charles Jourdain. I mean, there's a couple of good fights on here. That's fight of the night. Fight of the night. I mean, if that one's not fight of the night, I'd be shocked. Although Charles Jourdain's kind of had a couple of weird fights recently, so I mean, who knows?
Come on, dude. I mean, he fought.
It's not his fault for the last one.
Yeah.
But regardless,
there's a lot of people on here who could contend for fight of the night, man.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like you mentioned the Brian Battle, AJ Fletcher fight. Tim Means, Andre Fiallo, if both of those guys show up at the level that I think they can.
Violence.
Pure violence. And the thing is, too, both of those guys are riding 3-5 winning streaks. They need a fucking win. So they're going to go out there and probably try to kill each other. And that, in terms of the prelims, that's probably the fight to watch, man. At least for me, anyway. But that being said, there's a couple other good ones, man. The return of Hannah Goldie. Always love seeing her back. Taking on Mizuki Inoue. Jokes aside, actually excited to see her.
It's been 3 years since she fought, by the way.
Yep, August 2020. Lost to Mandy Lemos. She had a ACL injury. She tore her ACL in that fight.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That took 3 years away from her career.
Interesting. I wonder if recovery just went really badly or something like that.
Her birthday was yesterday, by the way.
Oh, good for her.
A month ago yesterday, my bad. I looked at it.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah. Well, good for her, though. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the rest of the card, man, I mean, we got the return of Muhammad Usman against Jay Collier. I saw some people saying, this is, a terrible matchup, and they're trying to,
I like it, though.
They're trying to feed Jay Collier to Muhammad Usman. I feel like people haven't watched Jay Collier fight. Muhammad, I've been pick Muhammad Usman, but Jay Collier is, a really tricky dude. Maybe it's just me, but
he's found a way to make it work, man. It's working.
It is. So I think I saw a lot of people roasting that matchup, and I'm like, well, I don't think that's entirely fair, But whatever. Yeah, man. Any closing? Last one. Obviously, the return of Michelle Waterson. We love the karate hottie here. Who doesn't? But she needs a win.
We just kind of overlooked that one, didn't we? That's probably the third highly ranked fight on this card.
Yeah, it is. It's third on the main card. We completely overlooked it. She needs a win. She's riding a 3-fight losing streak, although granted, split decision loss to Luana Guerrero, and when one of those was a guillotine choke to Amanda Lemos when she stepped up on short notice. So there's some complications with a couple of those, but she's taking on Marina Rodriguez. This fight's actually a rematch of a fight that they had in May 2021. Rodriguez got the unanimous decision win in a 5-round main event. I believe that was also a short notice fight. So
Dude, how long
Yeah.
do you think Michelle Watson has left in the game, dude? Like, I think we're
This
like,
could be it.
I was like, I feel like we're almost there.
Yeah, this could be it. I mean, she's a pioneer of the game. People forget she's been around since I want to say like 2006.
You know what's really gonna fuck you up though, Josh? It's funny that I say that, but believe it or not, these women are only 1 year apart in age.
That is kind of crazy. That actually is kind of crazy. Now that I didn't even think about that. Fuck me.
Right?
Hey man, that's fighting though. But you know what though? Hey dude, good for Michelle Watson. I looked it up. She's been doing some stuff. She's in a crime drama.
Yo, that's
called
pretty cool.
Cleaning Lady apparently. Oh, apparently she only showed up one episode. But she's in the upcoming Tom Hardy and Forrest Whitaker film called Havoc. I guess she's been doing some movie stuff. Good for her. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she closes stuff down if things go badly this weekend. Which they probably will.
She's chilling. She has a career after fighting, man.
Oh, she'll always have a career. There are some people who just, she's a good talker. She's very attractive. You know what I mean? Like, she's charismatic. Like, Michelle Watson will have a job in the UFC or whatever MMA company or whatever acting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she'll be fine. But I would not be surprised if she closes it out with a loss here. Yeah, man. I think that's all there is to kind of preview UFC Vegas 79, unless there's one fight I'm missing.
Not one that I could think off the top of my head. But I think we hit pretty much all of them.
Yeah. Same page. But dude, not the only MMA this week. This coming, it's going to be Saturday. Saturday over there in Dublin, Ireland, going down from the 3 Arena is Bellator 299. Bellator is still going, still alive, folks. It's kind of a weird, period of time, because we don't know their future, but fights are still happening for them. And this one's going to be main evented by a middleweight title clash between Johnny Eblen. You know the story. 13-0, just pure fucking dominance. In my opinion, arguably the greatest fighter outside of the UFC today. Taking on Fabian Edwards. 30 years old, the brother of Leon Edwards, now looking to get his own gold. Riding a 3-fight winning streak over Gegard Mousasi, Charlie Ward, and Lyoto Machida. That Machida knockout was nasty, by the way. First title shot of his career. Very intriguing fight, man. What do you think about this one?
Fun matchup. I just don't know if Fabian could get it done though, Josh. I don't know if are we doing a pick for this one? Or we kind of just
we can talk. I mean, we can give a pick if we want. Who do you think? We won't count it, but who are you leaning towards?
I'm leaning Johnny Eblen. I mean, I got to give credit to Fabian. He's obviously looked good his last matchups, but he has fought guys who, hate to say it, don't impress me as much as Johnny Eblen's recent wins. I mean, Gegard Mousasi, who's he's aging, but very strong, good win. Charlie Ward, I mean, good in Bellator, but I don't know if that's, what can I take from it? You know what I mean? A legend in Lyoto Machida, but I mean, dude, Lyoto's approaching, my father's age. So, yeah, it's a tough one.
Maybe your dad can get in there and fucking mix it up. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but my dad's like, hey, I'm sure he could do something, but. And then his other two, his two losses in Bellator are guys who I think could do very good in a title shot. Austin Vanderford, who did fight. Didn't he fight Johnny Eblen? I could be wrong.
I believe, maybe.
Oh, no, he lost to Gegard. He lost to Aaron Jeffries.
Yeah.
That's what it was. But, I mean, that's a guy who I thought at one point could have been in that title position. Costello Vancina is another guy who I thought could have been right there for it. Suffered a loss to Douglas Lima not too long ago, which that was a good rally back for Douglas Lima. I know that was earlier this year. I think people forgot that fight even happened, but that was a good ass fight.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, but there's nothing that Fabian looks good, but I don't think Fabian's beat anybody who I'm like, okay, I think these are great wins outside of Gegard. And like I said, Gegard's kind of seen a little bit. There's a little bit of aging now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, we're not really giving official picks for this. So I guess it's just kind of what we want to talk about. I think Johnny Eblen. I'm gonna give him the nod in this one. I fully expect him to win here. But I think Fabian, man. He never really impressed me when he was first kind of coming up. I saw a lot of his early fights, and granted, he signed Bellator. He signed to Bellator literally as his for his pro debut. He fought a couple times as an amateur, but I was never really that impressed with him. But it's kind of that 3-fight winning streak. Like you mentioned, Gegard and Lyoto are a bit older. But the dominance that he had over those guys was very surprising to me. I think Johnny Edlin's probably going to get a win here, but I expect it to probably be a competitive fight. I expect Fabian Edwards to have moments, Regardless, dude, it will be a fun fight. I think it's a bit weird it's a Ireland headliner, but
right.
We'll see. I mean, shit, dude, the UFC, they're going to go back, and they're going to go there in December, so, I mean.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. They're probably trying to capitalize, dude. They've probably seen that Bellator's been fucking killing it for the last year or two over there.
They're like, man, we're missing out.
Probably, dude. I mean, people fucking.
By the way, doesn't that just scream Ian Gary main event for you?
Absolutely. Although, hey, maybe it'll be Conor.
Could you imagine? No.
Maybe they'll make a pay-per-view just for Conor. It wouldn't be. I mean, weirder things have happened. I mean, if they're trying to do like a December, that's what he said. He wants to come back in December, but they're trying to figure out the USADA situation. Maybe. I'm literally just spitballing here. Maybe it's New Year's Eve in Ireland, Conor headliner. I don't know.
I mean, hey, I respect you for putting it out there, man. I think, well, yeah, you never know. It's UFC, right? They do what they want.
Yeah, they will. They'll do what they want regardless. But, yeah, man. I mean, fun little Bellator 299 main event. Co-main event, though, banger. Love to see the return of Aaron Pico, man. One of the most entertaining guys in MMA. Coming off a win over James Gonzalez in April, now taking on Pedro Carvalho, the Game, as he is known. Incredible nickname, by the way. Bellator veteran, we know the deal here. I mean, he fought in the featherweight Grand Prix in 2020. He's fought some big names, kind of like a mid-tier guy. I believe he's ranked number 5 as of now in their featherweight division. What do you think of this matchup, man?
I like it. I mean, look, I think Aaron, ever since he had that shoulder injury almost a year ago in October against Jeremy Kennedy, he's bounced back relatively well. I mean, a good win over a guy in James Gonzalez. I think another kind of lead-up win and potentially another leap-up win here in Pedro Carvalho could be a nice setup going into I would imagine next year. I think this will probably be his last fight for this year. I think these are all the right steps, man. I think at the end of the day, he's 26 years old. He's funny. I am correct on this one. His birthday is Saturday, Josh. He'll be 26. He'll be turning 27. I mean, I'd say all the right things are going well for him right now. It's just a matter of time of just stringing the wins together and getting back to that title. I mean, he's right there. He's young. He has the time, and he's peaking, and his ceiling is extremely high.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I expect him to go out there. Like I said, not a real pick here. I expect Aaron Pico to go out there and fuck him up. I mean, I think if his shoulder is doing fine, and because I know shoulder stuff is a bitch, dude. I mean,
TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah, but that's even just it's not even. It can get that severe if you let it, but even if it's just you fuck up, you dislocate your shoulder once, it's way more likely to happen again, and that's the case for every single time that you do it. So I hope that he's doing all right and that he didn't have any long-term damage. I bet he probably doesn't. He looked fine in his most recent fight. So expect him to get a win here. But yeah, man, I think I gotta wonder, dude. This is actually not in the rundown, but since we're talking about elsewhere, I'm gonna bring it up. Patricio Pitbull was asked about the sale as recently as yesterday, and he said, yeah, it's happening,
Wow.
But he said that he doesn't want to go to PFL. He said he wants to fight out his contract and go to the UFC. I think if there's a guy that actually should do it, I think it should be maybe him and maybe some of their bigger names. But dude, Aaron Pico is that guy. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think if there's a motherfucker who has star power potential and could potentially benefit from Bellator being sold, it's Aaron Pico.
He's so young still.
That's exactly what I'm saying. He's only just getting really, really good now.
27. I mean, he has another 10 years left in him, man.
Yeah. Exactly. So he's a guy that, man, if he could end up going over there, that could be a lot of fun. But even then, I'd like to see him wherever. He's just so entertaining. It doesn't matter where he is or where he's fighting for.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Regardless, in regards to the rest of this Bellator 299 card, what names stick out to you, man? I mean, you kind of got the usual suspects, considering they're going back to Ireland here.
I know, right? You always got the same kind of Irish guys, but Hassan Magapetcherov, opening up the prelims. Definitely one for me. 8-0. 22 years young, man. Just full of talent, lots of finishes. I believe, is it Zabit's brother? Zabit's cousin? I know there's a connection there.
I believe it's his brother, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, so obviously, we've seen the striking, you've seen the kicks. I mean, you know what you're getting here. Another one for me, the Frenchman who I know suffered a hard loss recently. But Josh, this is actually I feel like this fight should be higher on the card. Martin Subaru versus J.J. Wilson. J.J. Wilson continuing his campaign at 155. Last time out getting a win over Vladimir Tokov, the brother of Anatoly Tokov, another brother duo here. That one should be exciting there. And obviously Davy Guyland, another French fighter, just fucking action-packed, nonstop. He's taking on a guy I don't know, admittedly, but he is 13-7 in German. He's 13-7 and he's German. So I can only imagine what will probably happen, but I won't make any assumptions.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, dude, this is it's not the best Bellator card. And anytime they go overseas, or they go to Ireland, or they go to the UK, or they go to fucking wherever the fuck they go, France, they typically have a lot of local fighters, and the cards are like 17 hours long. And this is the case here. But like
there's some bangers though, Josh.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Like, there are some good fights, especially I tune in about halfway through this thing, because the prelims are like 24 fights. But I'd tune in probably halfway through this thing, man. Especially those prelims. Like, I told people last Bellator card, prelims are always on YouTube. No excuse not to watch them. So many good names, so many good fights. And with Peter Queally and Marcel Bonaway and Charlie Ward, a couple of other big names, and like you mentioned, Zabit's brother, who's also a good prospect. You should watch this one. It's a good card to watch. Not as good as Bellator 300 coming up on October 7th, which I'm very excited to preview. That's going to be a banger of a card. But, yeah, man, that's about all I got for Bellator 299. But, dude, we do have a fair bit of news, and we're going to go ahead and start it off with a unique story. Because out of nowhere, I mean, I've known that there's been rumblings about this. Conor Benn is going to make a shock return. He has been dealing with his steroid situation. Technically, he didn't test positive for steroids. He tested positive for steroid blocker, I believe. Clomiphene is what he tested positive for. But yeah, he's been dealing with that for the better part of a year. But Angel, don't worry. Just this morning, they announced that he's going to be fighting on Saturday against Rodolfo Ortega in Miami, Florida. He is currently, from my understanding, still currently provisionally suspended over in the UK. But I guess he's in a weird gray area because he was suspended, but he appealed it. So now he's technically allowed to fight, so he's going to get one in over in America. What do you think about this very odd situation?
Jesus, bro. Just weird. What the fuck? Like, what other word? How else could I word it outside of weird? Just odd that this is happening. You know what I mean? Like, you're not. There's no. As a sanctioning body, I mean, dude, this is just a little embarrassing, don't you think?
A little bit, yeah. But I think this entire situation has been for them. Honestly, it's been pretty fucking bad. Well, for Conor Benn anyway.
Yeah, right. Because people are always going to look at him a certain way now. They're always going to have some sort of a assumption or correlation with some cheating,
Yeah, and deservedly so, too. Because he, the only reason why the situation hasn't been wrapped up is because of Conor Benn. You know what I mean? Like, because he continually will go ahead and
double down.
They're like, I didn't do it. That wasn't me. Guys, it was a tainted supplement, but also I'm not going to talk for months he just wouldn't talk to the British board of sanctioning about the issue. You know what I mean? Like, just unreal stuff. But it's going to work out in the end for him. He's going to end up being able to fight. So I guess good for him.
Speaking about fucking tainted supplements, you remember Yoel Romero, bro, with the tainted supplement? He got that huge lawsuit win.
That's true.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and I don't think he ended up making any money from that because that supplement company was worth like nothing. I mean, I'm sure he got paid something, but they ordered him like a shit ton of money. I don't remember how much it was.
They got to give it to him, so they probably just probably went out of business or something.
They went bankrupt. They're doing the old Alex Jones, like That wasn't me. That wasn't me. I don't got no money, bro. Like, what do you mean? I can't pay shit. Like, just tons of shell accounts. I found it, Angel. He was Rio Romero. People completely forgot about this. This is the reason why he also couldn't get a title shot in 2016. He tested positive after his fight with Jacare Souza. And then he said that it was the tainted supplements. And Angel, he won $27 million in damages, $3 million in lost wages, $3 million in reputable harm, and $3 million in emotional damage.
And he got none of that.
They reduced it to $12.45 million in 2021, and we have not heard a thing since. Yeah, he probably didn't get paid, if I had to guess.
I was going to say, I would imagine my boy Ubel wouldn't even be fighting right now if he got that money.
Yeah, probably. Well, I mean, I hate to be that guy, but are we really going to act like Yoel Romero? Are we really going to...
Dude, Josh, Yoel Romero is natty, bro. I don't care what you say.
I know. He had been absurdly jacked for 20 plus years before he tested positive. But yeah, guys, it was that one supplement that did it. But yeah, I mean that's hilarious. But yeah, I forgot about the situation. But
you can't change my mind, Josh. Yoel Romero is the nattiest man I know.
I know. Yoel did. Free Yoel, you know. Anyways, dude, yeah, I mean he fucking Conor Benn's back, fellas. Conor Benn is back. For how long, who knows? But he's gonna be fighting this Saturday. Probably, unless they the British Boxing Board Commission makes a couple phone calls or two. But, anyways, man, it's a heavy subject. How about we put this one in the middle, and we did not start or end this discussion with it. Yeah, man. Yeah, Angela Lee. We have not talked about Angela Lee, and we haven't talked about Christian Lee or Victoria Lee in a long time. It's been almost a year, you know. We talked about it December, January, whenever we talked about the tragic passing of Victoria Lee, who was just 18 years old. And I know at the time the family was very sparse with details, and understandably so.
I mean, it's their life. It's their own privacy. They have it.
Of course. They don't owe anything to anybody. Naturally, there were, you know, people who,
yeah.
You know, I had to, you know, I was about to say like a word I can't say on air. That would actually get me in trouble. Who were saying, you know, it was the vaccine that did it, you know, or it was, why won't the family say what did it, you know, like just terrible, grotesque people. Angel, I know you saw for sure a couple of them.
Dude, why does that shit always pop up when anything like this goes down, dude? It's so sad. It's almost embarrassing to those people too.
Well, Angel, I don't know if you've seen this, but on our own comment section, whenever we talked about the unfortunate, you know, situation going on with our boy from Bellator right now, Chris Lee and Sony, on our comment section, whenever we talked about Chris Lee and Sony, we had people saying that it was the jab that did it, Angel. It wasn't multiple people coming out and saying that, and that it wasn't even that. But Angel, that was it, dude. You know, anytime it happens now. Anytime anything happens now, we're gonna have to deal with this, and that's so upsetting. But it has to be even more upsetting for the family, obviously. And in this circumstance, it was Victoria Lee, 18 years old. Just a fucking tragedy to pass away at 18. But the family hasn't talked about the situation in almost a year. Recently, Angela Lee came forward and talked about it in a couple of different interviews. And she confirmed, that Victoria Lee did commit suicide, which confirmed a lot of people's fears. And furthermore, she also revealed that a 2017 car crash, which previously was reported on at the time, that was her own suicide attempt. And it's a heavy subject for a lot of people. It's terrible. But I'm very happy that she's coming forward and talking about it, because I think MMA, I feel there's a lot of sports, you know, that like, Angel, you've seen it, like over the last couple of years, that like, they'll do mental awareness campaigns, they'll do mental health stuff, you know what I mean? They'll talk about, you know, that the kind of burden that it can be, to have a mind that's always, you know, hating you for lack of a better explanation on depression. You know what I mean? For lack of a better explanation of depression, it's just that's what it is. You'll wake up one day and you'll just, you know, that's it, you know. But MMA is not like that. And we both know that. MMA is a very and I get it, it's fighting. It's a testosterone-filled, fucking, full of egomaniacs and crazy people like Dana White and just crazy shit, right? The alpha males of all alpha males are in the sport. But at the same time, stuff like this does have to be discussed, man. I mean, it can be terrible, especially whenever...
Especially in combat, man, where you're alone.
Exactly. That's exactly it. You're alone. I mean, it's you and nobody else, you know?
You know, you're talking about that whole sports thing and mental health campaigns have done. I think the one that, the first one I ever remember really seeing was the Kevin Love one. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Several years ago now. It's been quite some time. Which I haven't heard of in a while, sadly. But, I do remember his particularly. But no, man, I think in fighting it's important to talk about this shit because there's no other sport where it sounds weird, where you're more in your feelings than in fighting. Cause you don't lose with your team. You lose by yourself. You can, obviously your coaching staff and all that was there with you. They're part of the team. They can tell you they lose with you, but in reality, you lost by yourself. You know? Mm-hmm. And that's a very hard thing to process. That's a very hard thing to go through and to understand how to deal with. That's a topic of conversation, knowing how to lose as a fighter. That's one of the most pivotal moments in a fighter's career is his first loss. And I know I'm using, loss specifically as one because, and granted, there's many more aspects to how a fighter can get to a very low point in their life where they can decide to do something not smart. And we don't know what Victoria Lee was going through specific. There could have been a number of things. There's a lot of things that could trigger someone to go do that. And it was just sad that she decided to make that choice. And that we as people weren't able to reach out and help.
Yeah, and it's a tough thing, man. And even beyond combat, man, because I don't want to dive into the politics side of it right now, but a lot of people will be like, if you struggle, you're a fucking pussy, just man up,
Bro, not even just that, John. Therapy's expensive, bro.
Therapy is expensive.
I could say this first fucking hand, man. I'm not going to get into any of the specific details on here, but I can tell you it's expensive.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. Yeah, I mean, it's a really tough thing, man. But that's exactly why people need to be comfortable talking about these emotions, because it's one of those things that just like, if you don't open up, like a lot of people are like, oh, what do you like? If you share too much emotion, people are like, oh, you're a fucking pussy. You got to man up. But like, dude, in my own experience, and I'll open up a little bit here. Like, it's whenever you hold stuff in, like you're not a pussy if you talk about your emotions. Like I'll tell you, like as a guy who's been through some shit, like you're not a pussy if you talk about your emotions. That does not make you bad. That does not make you lesser than. That does not make you not a man. That doesn't make you that or this or that or whatever the fuck. Like, if you don't open up all those emotions, you're going to have a much worse time down the road. And I've been very thankful to have a lot of great friends in my life who've helped me get through a lot of terrible situations, And in the case of Angel Lee, thank God she's still here. And in the case of Victoria Lee, it's fucking terrible that she isn't, It's a tough thing, man. It's a very tough thing to talk about because it's just, a lot of people just don't get it, Like, they're like, oh, just man up, or, because at its core, depression is like, it's a very hard thing to understand and to kind of like relate to if you don't have it, or if you don't, because people have bad days all the time, but depression is like having a bad life. Your brain telling you that your life is bad and waking up when your life is completely normal and just like, everything could be going completely right, but feeling like everything's wrong. And that's a really tough thing for people to deal with, and that's why it's got to be able to be talked about and discussed. And, I'm thankful that the MMA community responded really, really well to this, Angel. I got to be honest, I didn't expect them to.
Hey, man, you'd be surprised. I think it's because a lot of people who do enjoy fighting or like fighting, it's an outlet for other shit going on in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I've seen, I can't remember what it was specifically, but I feel like anytime I go into a stream or I hear people talk about certain things or just being around, there's people who can relate to this topic a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a thing that basically most. I mean, I'd say I don't know the numbers on it, but I feel like most people can relate to. You know.
Hey, and you got the few giga you have no emotions. So
Yeah. You know, like there are some people that just don't ever feel any emotion. So no wonder they react a certain way to hearing about mental health stuff. You know.
I think that's called a sociopath, Josh.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, man. I mean, it's just I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It's terrible. It's terrible, but it's incredibly brave. And that's what it is. I hate when people say sometimes like, "Oh, that's so brave," you know, to like you've heard it too. There are sometimes where people
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's so brave to like come forward and talk about something that's not brave whatsoever. But it actually, in a sport like this where it's all about fighting, it's all about ego, it's all about fucking aggression and just testosterone and shit, to come out and be like, yeah, like I absolutely was depressed. I tried to kill myself, and to talk about your emotions after your sister, and especially in the MMA community, which was, you know, there's a reason why we saw so much stuff about like, was it the jab, Angel? Why are they talking about the vaccine, the family? Like, there's a reason why. It's because we're a right-wing sport, whether you like it or not, you know. So for her to come out and talk about it and to talk about what it actually was and talk about the mental health aspect of it, you know, bless her, man. Like, that's just such a terrible situation. But that's all I got to say, man. I think we should probably go ahead and move on. Fortunate news for this one just sucks. I got to be honest with you, dude. Derek Brunson. He's riding a 2-fight losing streak. Jared Cannonier, Dricus du Plessis. Before that, we were talking about him getting a potential title shot. But 39 years old, literally previously was scheduled to fight Roman Didalize at MSG. He has been released from the UFC. Very much out of nowhere. Like I mentioned, he literally had a fight scheduled. What do you think about Derek Brunson's out of nowhere release, ending a over decade-long run for the UFC?
I mean, it was weird, right? Because he was still relatively active. I mean, there's been no comments made out of it. It was the most random cut in the world for me. A ranked guy too at that. And has he spoken out at all? Has there been any comments from his agent?
Nothing. He confirmed that he was released, and he called out Jake Paul. That was it.
Respect.
But unfortunately, yeah, right. But unfortunately for him, I don't think there's any chance he's going to get that fight right now.
It's just unfortunate. I don't know. I really wish we had more details, more stuff to talk about, and kind of justify maybe the cutting or kind of address it better. It just feels odd to talk about it and not know what led to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's just odd because there is no news about it. That's partially why it's so odd. The only thing that, I mean, we literally just got a confirmation from Ali Abdelaziz, and that was it. So, yeah, I mean, he said... Are
you ready for Game Bread FC Derek Brunson, Josh, or BKFC Derek Brunson?
Bro, for Derek Brunson's sake, I hope he doesn't fight in BKFC, man. Fuck.
PFL it is.
Shit, what if he's going to move up to heavyweight to face Francis Ngannou?
Hey, man, can you believe it, brother?
Yeah, I mean, I think realistically he'll probably get a PFL deal out of it. I mean, I feel that's probably the most realistic thing to happen. I don't think he'll fight Jake Paul. I'd be very shocked. And I would also be very, very shocked if he ends up fighting for Bellator won't sign him because let's be honest, I mean, they're not signing anybody right now, you know. Yeah, you know, I think he's probably going to end up heading to PFL, if I had to guess. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, it is unfortunate that there's no real details, and it's unfortunate that we never really got a resolution, you know? It kind of sucks. But, yeah. It is what it is, man.
He had a good run, though. You got to give credit. He had a good career.
Oh, yeah, I mean, fucking the resume's ridiculous. Darren Till, Kevin Holland, Evan Shabazzian, Ian Heinisch, Elias Theodorou, R.I.P., the GOAT, Lyoto Machida, Uriah Hall, Sam Alvey, Ed Herman, Chris Lieben. I mean, just all sorts of fucking bangers. And that's not even including his fights with guys like Robert Whittaker and Anderson Silva and Izzy and so on and so forth. Like, he put on so many good fights over the years, man. So, it is unfortunate.
Typical, man. Typical career. Just sad to see it, you know, and on a weird note, you know what I mean?
Well, you know what that is? That's just MMA, though, dude. That's
literally it's even more odd because it's not even like retirement.
Yeah. No, yeah, it is odd, yeah.
It's like a movie ending, like 20 minutes before it ends. You know what I mean? Like it'd be like Endgame ending when when they go back in time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're not wrong. It's just such an odd point. I mean, he was literally booked for a fight. It's just odd.
Well, you know what's even crazy? I remember, I think like a day before, 2 days before the news came out, it was like Roman Dolidze versus Derek Brunson, and I forgot which one it said it was out, and if it was Derek, well now it makes sense, right? But even then, it's weird. But it was like fight is off, so and so is out, and it was just like, damn. All right, I'm like, that sucks. I didn't really think much of it at the time. I was like, I guess someone got injured, but no, I mean Derek Brunson got cut.
Yeah, and that sucks. It honestly really does suck to see, but, you know, I think we should go ahead and move on because, like, dude, like I mentioned, you know, like, Derek Brunson just randomly being released, like, and we'll see how his career goes from here. That's odd, but, like, that's all MMA is, baby. We're nothing but fucking nobody gets, like, Robbie Lawler retirements. Nobody. Like, nobody gets to go out well on top. Everybody gets their own really weird, typically sad ending to their career. Pat Miletich is going through that right now.
Well, Josh, his career has ended. Has been ended.
You're right, actually. Pat Miletich retired after a win in 2008. In 2020, he came out of retirement for a kickboxing match with Michael Nunn, which he lost. And Michael Nunn had spent 20 years in a prison cell before that fight, so yeah, but anyways, man, Pat Miletich is currently scheduled to fight Mike Jackson in next month in Iowa. First thing to ever happen in Iowa.
I didn't know they were fighting in fucking Iowa, dude. That's so random.
I believe Pat Miletich is from Iowa, which is
It was probably the only place he could sanction the fight too, probably.
You're probably right. But Pat's like 54, I want to say. Like, he's up there, bro. So.
Jeez. Hey, all jokes aside, bro, no matter what, whatever the beef is here, you still gotta tip Pat Miletich for wanting to go in there at his fucking age, dude. Like, you could say whatever you want, but it's still pretty kind of like.
It's pretty typical, you know. It's kind of like, you know, like, I kind of like it. It's kind of like pretty badass. At the same time,
you gotta tip it.
I don't think it's gonna go well for him.
Oh, come on, Josh. No, you tell me. No.
I mean, I don't want to make any fight predictions, Angel. I don't want to, because we have the fight of the century is still a month away. But dude, like,
Tommy Fury, KSI.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's really.
I'm sorry, Josh. You might have been talking about Charles Oliver, Islam Makhachev, but that's not even the best fight of that month. So I don't know what you were even trying to bring that one up.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, dude, Pat Miletich is scheduled for his first fight in 15 years. He's gonna face former UFC veteran Mike Jackson in Davenport, Iowa for I think it's called Cage Aggression is the name of the promotion. I believe that's what it's called. Regardless, they had their press conference last week, and, like, there wasn't a whole lot to say about it. Like, it was fine, I guess. Pat Miletich is, like, 53, so he probably shouldn't be doing this to begin with, you know. But I guess, like, we learned, like, right after the press conference that I guess Pat Miletich literally got a DUI that morning and just didn't tell anybody and showed up to the press conference anyway. And
dude, what a dog. I don't give a fuck what you say. I know he shouldn't be doing it, dude, but what a fucking dog. To fucking show up after your DUI, no fucks to give to your press conference. That's a different level of savagery that I don't think anybody can achieve easily.
Well, I mean,
without 54 years of experience on this earth, dude.
Yeah, like, for real. Like, he's
the level of shamelessness to fucking walk into your own press. Dude, you know what? I mean, it would have even been better if he would have been like, "I'm sorry, I'm late. I just don't give a fuck if it's Conor McGregor, you know."
He showed up. He was like, "Sorry, guys, I was too busy. I was talking to the deputies outside before I came in."
Dude, he was talking about how he went to his fucking geriatrics fucking.
I just got done doing some training with you know, the cops outside. I was showing him a couple jiu-jitsu techniques, you know. Jesus, dude. Yeah, I mean, I had to throw. Dude,
the only place Pat Miletich is teaching at is the fucking YMCA, dude.
Oh my god, dude. Just pure. I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. Yes, is it sad that Pat Miletich is like 50 years old and getting a DUI in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Iowa? Yes. Like it's not good. It's obviously a terrible, like, I don't know if he has alcoholism or if he's going through like some substance abuse issues, but it's just like, are we really gonna let this fight still go on now? Like Pat Miletich is like,
and use the money to pay the DUI now, Josh. What choice does he have?
I guess you're right. I didn't think about that. They can't cancel the fight now. Like, it's just Pat Miletich badly needs this, I guess. But jokes aside, it's like,
you know what go even harder, Josh? The day of his court date was the same day of the fight. He goes to court.
Holy shit.
He gets whatever he has to do, and then he proceeds to fight and wins. That's some dog shit right there.
Yeah, if Pat Miletich shows up, pays his fine for the DUI, goes into Iowa, I'm sure they're fighting out in the middle of nowhere, because that's all that state is. If you guys can't tell, I fucking hate Iowa. I drove through there in May when I was going to Minnesota. And Angel, I don't know if you've been to Iowa, but there's literally nothing there. It's the weirdest state I've been to. The most empty one, anyway. But yeah, they're gonna fight out in the middle of nowhere, Iowa, and I guess Pat Miletich the fight's still going on. They did not know that the DUI had happened before the press conference, but now they know, Angel, and he's still going ahead with it, so.
And like I told you, the crazy part is they didn't know he was intoxicated during the press conference. That's it.
Shit, just fucking craziness, dude. Just downright craziness. Mike Jackson's totally gonna win this, right?
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. It is a fight of differing ideologies, is what the press release said whenever they announced it. So we will see. Anyways, man, we talked about one friend of the show, a guy that we formerly interviewed, which is Mike Jackson. We also interviewed Sam Alvey in the past, friend of the show, Sam Alvey. In May, got a knockout win over Cameron Graham, his first win since 2018. And dude, he signed to Karate Combat, and he just got a knockout win over there, man. Did you see his win? What'd you make of it?
I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah.
I saw he did the good old towel trick trying to make weight at Karate Combat too. I don't know if you saw that.
I did, yeah. Sam's got that dog in him.
Hey, man. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Damn straight, man. Damn straight. Yeah. Good for him, man. Love to see it. Love to see a friend of the show getting a big win, man. Love to see that.
Gotta get paid, bro. I get it.
Gotta get paid. Yeah, I mean, hey, man, he's won 2 in a row. So we'll go ahead and see what
oh, yeah, he won on the regional scene, right?
Yeah, he won by knockout. He knocked out, the guy's nickname was like Huggy Bear or something.
Jesus.
He seemed really friendly. I hated it, but yeah. Sam Alvey.
Have you still watched any Karate Combat in recent time? It's been a minute, dude, but I still love how it just looks like actual Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of it. They had like a big tournament recently, I want to say. Like, they've done some fun stuff.
Well, they got Boss Rue and GSP there, so I mean, it makes sense why it's as big as it is.
Yeah.
But dude, it's so sick. It's so sick. I can't even deny it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude. I mean, hey, Karate Combat's pretty fun, man. I hope they get more people. And getting guys like Sam Alvey will go a long way, I feel like. Because I saw this highlight win. Because also, a lot of people know him from, his really, really rough end of his UFC career. But, I mean, he does have a fan base partially because of that.
Yeah, you're right.
Nonetheless, man, last topic of the day, Angel. Last topic of the day. It's been a while since we talked about Misfits, man. Misfits 009 is going down this Saturday from the Vertu Motors Arena in Newcastle. In the main event, Idris Virgo taking on Aaron Chalmers. That one could be interesting, but I feel like people care more or less about the undercard more so. Face Tempers back against Ginty, Ashley Roxu, Halalham. Friend of the show, Ben the Bane Davis, making his Misfits boxing debut against Gabriel Silva. And there's also a couple of other fights, man. What's your thoughts on this card? Any fights you're looking forward to, man? Last topic of the day.
I mean, let's be honest, Rod. Like I said, without the major names, all Misfits cards are pretty weak. They will have like one or two, maybe little sprinkled things in there. But I mean, this is just another prime example of it. Obviously, we're out here to support our boy Ben the Ben Davis, dude. Like he's taking out Josh. You didn't clarify.
Oh, I guess I didn't say. Yeah, our friend Ben the Bane Davis is fighting Anderson Silva's son. So it's fucking.
So we wish him a lot, and I mean a lot of luck.
It's just, yeah. Ben, God bless, man. I mean, I hope he's getting fucking paid for this. I'm pretty sure he is, well, I mean, obviously he's getting paid, but I hope he's getting paid really well, Yeah, he's got his work cut out for him, though, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, this card's all right, but not too many big names.
Yeah, no, it's pretty weak. Like I said, there might be like one or two, maybe three decent fights. Granted, I'm sure there will still be some nice little highlights, but it has nothing to really offer.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll watch it. We'll probably recap it. I mean, we got to recap. We got to talk about our boy Ben, and I'm sure his knockout win over that fraud Gabriel Silva. So
I can't wait till we bring Ben on to interview him and ask him how amazing it felt to beat the son of a legend.
Yeah, if Ben wins, we'll ask him for an interview. If he loses, we can't have him on. That's the only way. It's just can't do it. That's the only way. But anyways, man, yeah, that's about all that we got for this week. Anything else you want to talk about before we go ahead and close out of here, man?
No, man, I think that's everything. That was a pretty solid show this week. I'm excited to come back next week. What the fuck? Speaking about next week, what is next week's fight?
That's a good ass question.
Oh my God, Josh! I could have heard Grand Dawson, Bobby Green, main event of the year here. Jokes
aside, very excited for that fight. I just don't like him as a main event.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Joe Pyfer, I'll put it like this, Josh. Joe Pyfer, Abdul Razak Al Hassan.
Oh, I need to know they. Oh.
Let me say, it's a good fight. Co-main though, not But granted, for what the main event is, I mean, clearly our standards aren't.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. Granted, overall, it looks like a good card. So I'm excited to come back next week and talk about that one.
For sure, man, and excited to go ahead and talk about it, man. Excited to go ahead and recap, and I hope you guys enjoy the show, man. About to break 1,200 subs. Let's go ahead and get there, hopefully. Maybe we'll even be there by the time this gets uploaded. Who knows? Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm at Josh Evanoff on Twitter. He's at Angel Ortega _01 at Courtside Sound for all things relating to the show. Peace and butt grease. Mouse click.